Hi, my name's HAZIM Gaber. So, we're going to continue learning about Microsoft Excel, and now we're going to save our file. So we made this beautiful file, but we haven't saved it yet. So, you can save your file with one of two ways. You can press Control S on your keyboard, or you can go File and Save. It doesn't really matter, but the first time you try to save, so if you choose File, Save, the very first time it'll automatically go to Save As, and it'll give you choices for where you want to save your file. If you're in, if you have OneDrive, OneDrive will be selected by default. If you don't have OneDrive, it will probably encourage you to, or you can save it to your desktop, for example, and make a new folder. You can put the file wherever it makes sense. You'll notice if you press Control S, then you'll get this dialog box, and it'll ask you to pick a name. And at the end here, at the tail end, you'll see .xlsx, which you'll see that in the Save As menu. The .xlsx stands for Excel Workbook. Older versions of Excel, you can save this file in so many different formats. So XLSX is the default format. If you have a macro, so a macro is a like an application that executes some kind of code automatically within your workbook, then you can save it as XLSM, which is a macro-enabled workbook. Do not choose this option unless you have a macro. The reason being is macros can contain viruses. Now, we're not saying you're going to put in a virus, but if you create a standard Excel workbook and save it with a macro extension and send it to somebody else, their security settings may block that file automatically. So you do not want to use the macro format unless you actually have a macro. Does Microsoft put in these two separate formats deliberately so that if you open a standard Excel workbook and somebody had a macro in it, it would automatically be disabled. We can also choose .xlsb for binary workbook and .xls, which is a old version, so Excel 97 to 2003. Those were older versions of Excel. If you choose one of those formats and you have advanced features, then Excel will let you know that some of your formatting won't be saved. So if you've got like pivot tables, for example, it won't be saved. Same with CSV. So CSV is comma delimited. If you choose that, basically you'll have your rows and columns, and that's it. You won't have any fonts, you won't have any charts, you won't have any of that stuff. You can also choose things like you can turn it into a HTML web page, a single file web page. So an HTML is a web page that contains all the images and charts and tables as one big file, whereas HTML stores the text as one file and the images as separate files. You can also save your workbook as a template. So XLTX is Excel template, and then we've got XLTM, which is a macro enabled template. So again, it's a template with code, and then XLT, which is a Excel 97 to 2003 template. We've also got delimited files, which are just like CSVs, but instead of the commas for our columns, they have spaces. We can also save it as a text file, a PDF, and an XML or open document. Now, you can do this. You can say, hey, I want to have my Excel spreadsheet and I also want to save it as a PDF. So you can save your workbook, choose Excel format, give it a name, HAZIM's book, for example, and then save. So I've saved my Excel workbook, and go back here and I can go save a copy, and now I can change my Excel to say PDF. So now I save this as a PDF, for example. So now I've got a PDF file which kind of looks hideous, but we'll learn how to do this properly soon. So if we go back, I can say, hey, I'm gonna save this as Excel, an old one. So as long as the file extensions are different, it doesn't really matter. They all you're not going to affect anything. But you'll notice if you save your file as an XLS after you've saved it as XLSX, or if you've saved it as any other type of standard Excel workbook, that's what's open. So if you look here, what's open is .xls, not .xlsx. So if I make any changes to my file, they're going to be saved in the XLS file and not the XLSX file. So I gotta be careful which workbook I'm working on. The other thing is, as an XLS file, we're limited to features that are basically 20 years old now. So now if I reopen this, so now I've got my XLSX file and my XLS file. And I gotta be careful again, since these are two separate physical files now, whatever changes I make in one file do not update in the other file. I have to go back the file and I have to save as, and I have to do this again. So just keep that in mind. If you have any questions, please post a comment and we'll answer it in the next video. Thank you.